Hey, apologies for this coming out a little bit late, but here is the follow-up to Friday's Management Training Leadership Academy. So first thing, we did get a little late start because my flight ended up being delayed by an hour. Gerardo was still on a flight and Damien was in training because his people had come up to the meeting. So because of that, we did have to start a little bit late. So the first about 20 minutes was them role playing the intro to the interview two, three, four times, as I was kind of getting set up and making things happen. So if they said something about I learned something there, that would be good. That's where Ali also sent out to you that not everyone had scripts, which is kind of weird. Like even if there's somebody who's not in an office, they don't have a script. So just a quick note there. All right. Here's how the meeting unfold. So when you do your follow-up, you should hear some things like this. Hopefully, some of you have already done your follow-up and you heard these. If you didn't hear these, it's okay to do a second follow-up and go, by the way, Stacy said something out talking about these things. Did you get these things out of it? So first thing is this, is in the kind of the opening comments, I kind of went off on a few different topics. The first topic that I think that is an easy follow-up that you might be having, and I'll just kind of share with you here, kind of what happens. I shared kind of the results of where we are currently as a division, things of that type, being back in number one, things of that type. We talked about a little bit of taking inventory about where you're at currently in the mix of things. And then we talked about being a go through college person. Hannah Young has about a 7-minute thing where she talks about her branch manager experience, what it meant to her, things of that type. We then went on to talk about taking advantage of go through college and the opportunities. I went pretty hard on the DM opportunity and how this is a real job that you really get paid and really pay your bills and can get married and have kids and do all these things, and how the job market's not simple. And instead of going, man, I got to figure out a way to get a job, going, well, you got a shot at one right here if you do the right things. Even if that's not a career, I'm here forever job, it is an opportunity for you. So that I think is a really big deal, I guess, in this in the respect to you might hear something about that. And if you have DMC people or people who should look at the DMC opportunity because they're not fully invested in school, follow up on that one. Like that's an easy one to go. I mean, what do you think? What's your thought about those particular things? We then went on to talk about being vector trained, did a big promotion of the Rome opportunity, how you should go run an office just for the Rome sake, pretty much. I'm in that. We then talked obviously about being prepared, things of that type. We talked about implementation. All right, so this should have been one thing that they took away. We talk about just you don't have to go and figure out anything. You just need to know how to do the fire number, like get that fire number, learn how to do it at the right level, learn how to run a training seminar that gets you $1,000 first weekend productivity, learn how to promote assistants, and then learn how to manage your top reps. Why? Because this is what it gives you. You can have a $150,000 summer if you just do those things. Never have a good push, never run a good team meeting, never do anything with PCs. If that was all you did, okay, was those things. Now obviously you have to do some things with PCs and things of that type. So I'm gonna go to layer down here because you might hear this on the follow-up. So in the first part up there where it talks about recruiting, I talked about to have 2 social media and 2 PRs launch a week. It means you need to have 40 to 50 fire number set up, that MRO set up. So right now, you need to be training yourself to get 40 or 50 come summertime. So in the summertime, you'll have 4 to 5 days to make that happen. So you need to be able to say, I can set 5 to 10 any day that I go do this. So if I spend 2 or 3 hours and get it to 5 to 10, then I can say to myself, when I go to the summertime, I can spend 2 or 3 hours a day and make that happen. So this is where any of your management candidates should be able to come back and go, what I got out of it was that I need to be setting 5 fire per week in my time. Or if I'm doing 2 of them, maybe it's 10, okay, that I need to be working toward. The second thing that was on here was the 7 a.m.s. Okay, we went heavily into you should start recruiting your assistant manager team now, and in particular, be setting it up for the month of December. And then I talked about the contest a little bit, that it's going to be coming out and there's going to be these opportunities. So hopefully there's something there that you may get. And if you didn't, kind of going, hey, can we start making a list of people that could go with you, be your assistant managers that you have a relationship with, a friendship with, or something of that type versus waiting till the summer so you can go and make those things happen. So those are the 2 big things. that they can do right now. Fire and assistant managers. Okay. Those are two big deals that they can make happen. So we hammered away at that one. Okay. Then we kind of went into the agenda for the day, which we didn't get to everything. We talked about the badges of honor. Now, unfortunately, because I was stuck on a plane where I didn't have Wi-Fi, sitting on the tarmac, we literally, when I say my plane was delayed, I was just sitting out on the runway. We had to go back to the gate and then had to turn around and come back. Never had Wi-Fi, never had the access to actually flip over all the data that I needed. So I didn't get to go through all those things. But I did hit the important thing is you must know how to set fire. Guys, our people have to do this. And I told them, if your office isn't doing it, we have to move you to an office that is doing that. Okay. We talked about how do you recruit fire? We talked about those things. So your people should have this in the forefront of mind. And then we went into the standards that you have to be at least 15 grand in career sales. And if that scares you, then you shouldn't be a manager. You should be working toward it. And then the second thing was the territories. So if you're sitting here saying, I want to be in an A territory, and A does not mean it's A compared to C is bad. It just means it has A level expenses, okay, versus B level expenses versus C level expenses, okay? So we talked about that as well. And then we talked about how doing this now is important. And then also taking advantage of two things. One, the Olean push period, okay, that they should take advantage of the Olean push period. And then the second thing that they should do is they should take advantage of the December program, the semester break program. And we talked about how November 30th to December 14th is May, December 14th to the 28th is June, December 29th through January 16th, that's July or SC2. So they're going to get a chance. So if they're sitting there going, well, I want to go through a summer first, you're going to go through a summer. So hopefully you get a little bit of that and saying, hey, plan your time accordingly with those particular things. Okay. So plan your time accordingly with those things. Okay. So that was kind of the intro. Then the next thing we covered was mental toughness. Okay. So Dan Cassetta did his message on mental toughness that we always play. Very easy, very simple message. Had some really good stuff though about making sure that how you respond to things and how you do things, how you mentally refer to things. Gerardo came on and gave a vector leadership steps message, which is actually about group management, how to manage people in groups. So this way they could do this now and they can teach others to do this as assistants whenever they're in that role of being a branch or a district. So hopefully you get some kind of follow-up on the things that Gerardo covered and some of the Q&A that we had at the end there, okay? And then the final thing that we covered were the assignments and upcoming events, okay? So what are the upcoming events? Here they are, pretty easy, pretty simple. You can rewind, watch that, and then here are their assignments. To set at least 5 before they go to Olean, run 1 more interview before they go to Olean, run 1 phone jam and workshop, and participate in the push period. So all your people should have participation in the push period. Coming to Olean with a 0 push report, unacceptable. Okay, just tell them it's unacceptable. You find a way to make this happen. We did not get to go heavily into this, but things that we will talk about that they can do to make that happen are things like they could just follow up with every customer and just get holiday orders. They could do things of that type. So that's important. And then obviously continuing to save money and use all the contests for those particular things. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause here and we're going to talk real quick and make sure you get a snapshot of this, rewind, do whatever you need to do that. Okay. So what should you take away from it? Okay. What should come away from it is follow-ups would be something along the lines about maybe the district manager opportunity, wanting to take advantage of that, understanding how to save money. I challenged them heavily to just bite the bullet is the word that I use. Bite the bullet is the words that came out. Bite the bullet means what? How much money do you have in your bank account right now? You have $750? Great. Write a check for $600. And now that forces you to have to go make sales. It's scary. It's not something you want, but that will teach you how to make sales and it'll teach you the other. So don't be afraid to just write that bigger check because that will force it out of you. Now, if you're writing the bigger check anyway, then you're in great shape. But if you're not, then they need to be writing that bigger check. So that should have came out somewhere in the follow-up. Standards. The standards probably should have came up in the follow-up. Mental toughness should have came up in the follow-up. How to deal with groups should have came up in the follow-up. And then obviously the assignments should come up in the follow-up as well. Okay. So just quick few things there. Easy follow-ups for you. Selling 0 for the push period is our fault, guys. That's our fault if we get them to 0. Okay. So we need to make sure that all of our people have a plan moving forward. It's not too late. The push has still got 10 days ahead of it. or more. Okay. So don't let them go to zero. Okay. Make sure you know that. Selling their homemakers, galleys, things of that type. Keep that in front of them. And then using this group of management candidates to help us find our SMRAs would also be a very logical thing to do. They could help find those people. Okay. All right. Final thing is this. If you have people who did not attend, we had too many people who did not attend, or they were on their phone, or they were at a show. Like, this cannot happen moving forward. Like, you need to know everybody's calendars. You know everybody's things that you go November 21st, December 18th, those other dates that we have meetings. You're there. Okay. You're freaking there. Okay. There can't be people missing. I understand if things. We had one person's like, oh, I didn't know it was my fall break, so I'm driving home. Great. Then drive home before or after the meeting. Okay. Don't do that. See, this is our responsibility. And obviously, I can't manage 60 people, okay, between the three divisions. This is on you as district managers and division managers to make sure that your group is doing the right things when it comes to that. Okay. Missing people, though. This is what you can't say. Hey, here's the video, watch it. No. That's not how this goes down. You have to go to the person and go, hey, you missed, right? Okay. Tell me when you're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it this week. Nope. When are you going to watch it? Like, let's go into your calendar. Let's find an hour. Let's find a 2-hour window to watch this, or multiple hour-long windows to watch this. Great. After you're done, we're going to have a follow-up. So you're going to watch it on Tuesday from 4 to 6. Awesome. Then, and I say 2 hours, it's about 3 hours. We play in 1.25. You can kind of get it a little quicker. And there are some breaks and things in there. Then you go, then you would say to them, great, we're going to follow up at 6:30 then. Okay. And at 6:30, we're going to follow through on what you actually got. And I want to see your notes. So shoot them over. And if something happens, just go, hey, listen, I don't ask for that, obviously, if you're at the actual event, but when you have to follow up and you're kind of doing it on your own, I don't want you watching it while you're driving, watching it while you're fixing dinner, watching it while you're, doing something else and getting ready in the morning and going, oh, I watched it. It's like, no, you didn't. I need to see your notes. I need to see those things. Accountability to these people would be really, really helpful. Okay. Last thing is we were going to do management rankings. Okay. Because I couldn't get to my Google spreadsheet that Gerardo and Damien had also filled out, I was never able to do that. Then as soon as I landed on Friday, obviously I went straight into the meeting. I got home Friday night at 9:45 at night. Obviously I didn't do it Friday night. And I've been gone for 2 straight weeks. I've been at home for less than 24 hours since Monday prior to SLC. So honestly, yesterday I just caught up on all the stuff around the house that I had. And then our granddaughter came over today. So I've not done those rankings yet. I apologize. Those will be out tomorrow on Monday at the latest. I may try to work on them a little bit right now, but they'll come out tomorrow on Monday as well. So you'll be able to share those, and I'll be obviously giving those to people individually. We did talk about the rankings a little bit, how basically a ranking, the first rankings of the college football bowl series generally are not the rankings the way it ends at the end of the year. It's the same thing here. And we only are going to give you rankings every so often. So they're not going to move in real time. It'll be over the course of time, but they need to make an impact. So when you get the rankings, it's important to go over them with your people to say, look, this is your issue. Here's where you're good at. Here's the things that you need to improve on. So that way they know what they need to be working toward to move up the rankings and to get what they need territory-wise, and matching that up with the amount of money that they have. All right. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Thank you very much for all of your energies and all of your efforts and all those great things.